8:24 and -3 degrees. The wind chill -11 today. Craig Bromell, the former head of the Toronto Police Officers Union, is here. The Police Brotherhood. The name of the show is The Bridge. Here was the problem that I had watching the pilot. I kept thinking, okay, the chief and the head of the and this guy who's going to head up the union, who's basically based on you, are having an argument. Is this really an argument you had with the chief? All of these things. There was a deputy chief you ended up really conflicting with. So how much, if anything, kind of Torontonian familiar with what your history is, how much can we read? Can we say, I know who that is?
I think that wasn't the plan. It is a fictional series. Alan D. Fiore, the head writer and the creator, I asked him to go, he knew, he studied me, he found out, and I said, now go off and create the characters and create the storylines. What you just said, people are going to think anyways. We knew that. We knew that when we were going to do this, no matter what we say or do or what you see on the screen, people are going to come back and say, well, that was back, October '99. So that's not the case. We wanted to have more freedom because what I found when I ran the union and I would meet my cohorts around the world, within the first 5 minutes we were talking about the same problems. So we really wanted to put an international spin on this. It's Toronto, it could be Vancouver, it could be Los Angeles, it could be Paris. And I think that's what helped us on the sale with CBS down in the States. And actually we've sold it all over the world also because it's a storyline that we wanted to say, this could be anywhere. And we're very happy that we accomplished that.
There's some pretty dark stuff in the pilot, and you say there's going to be a lot of dark stuff coming up. I mean, some of these cops are boozers, womanizers. We've got very, very flexible sexuality amongst some of the female staffers. Cops who are doing bad stuff. I don't want to give anything away, but how much more of that are we going to see?
Yeah, we're very dark. We didn't want to hold back. It was easy. It would have been easy for me to do a very pro-cop show, but I really wanted to push the authentic side of this. So I thought we got to give the good and the bad. I have to give or create a show that is negative in a way, because when I ran the union, I just dealt with the negative news. I never dealt with that hero cop, and they are situations that go on. They are human beings. Things happen. And it was important for us to get across that there are other sides than just, the police service pushing the fact that, everything's good in the city, don't worry about it. Okay, well, when they're saying that, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that the general public and the media weren't aware of, and we really get into that.
And the Internal Affairs Department guys, they continue to
The
be
sweethearts.
the great all-time weasels.
Yeah.
But doesn't a police force need internal affairs? Because there are
Yes,
bad cops.
They do.
Yeah.
And there was many times when I was with the union that Internal Affairs would come to me and say, this, and they would prove that this was a problem case, and they were always worried what I was going to say the next day, whether we were going to support them or not. Many times we didn't support them. Many times we would say, you know what, it's better. It's bad enough a job. We don't need somebody like this around. So we get into that also. We were always asking with Internal Affairs or any police chief, don't instigate the phone call. Wait for the phone call. Because a lot of times people would phone to complain about a cop that wasn't true. So we would always wait, or don't go and be proactive. We were very much against that. And it did work while I was running the union here in Toronto.
Craig, good to have you here, and congratulations. The pilot airs tomorrow, and it's appointment viewing, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the series.
I appreciate that. Thanks, John.
The name of the show is The Bridge. You can see it tomorrow at 9 on CTV. The time. Let me ask you a real-world question. How do you feel about the current state of Toronto's police force, the chief we've got, the union boss we're dealing with?
I'm in Los Angeles a lot. I'm back and forth a lot, so I've kind of fell out of the loop. I haven't really talked to anybody with the police union in years. It's quiet.
Yeah.
It's very quiet. I hope there's still a lot going on behind the scenes to make things better for police officers. I always had a philosophy: if you take care of the police officers, the citizens will be taken care of, and it's true. Many times it happens that way. So I've kind of fallen out of the loop on what's going on, but it seems good. I mean, it seems like things are getting done, which is the most important thing.
If you were the union boss today, would you be as combative and
I wouldn't have
feisty,
changed.
I guess? Would you be a different guy? Have you mellowed?
Yeah, I think I have. I think just age. I think we all do. But my job was protect. We had a slogan: "We protect those who protect others," and my job was to protect police officers. And it's a very tough business. It was a lot of decision makers were involved in that split-second decision that a police officer would make, and I tried to even that out as much as we could. And it turned out to be controversial, but we didn't care. We got to the point where We had set up a standard of how we were going to go about our business. And at no time we agreed, whether it was my board of directors or my lawyers or my consultants, that we were going to be in a position where we were always going to make sure that if a police officer was wrongly accused of something, that we were going to fight for them at all costs. And that happened a lot.
Yeah.
It happened a lot.
In the pilot, you really go to town, or your character fights with both the chief and the deputy chief. Did that happen in real life?
Sure,
Yeah.
it happened. It's probably happening now. You know, it's one of those positions where you don't always see eye to eye, and you would take a stand just like they would. Many times we were both right. Many times we were both wrong, and then we would come to that. Lot of meetings went behind the scenes, obviously, for those reasons alone. You know, and it happened a lot. It happened a lot with politicians. It happened a lot. Like I call them the decision makers in any law enforcement of any major city in the world. And it's the only way for it to happen. You know, sometimes things would get out to the public through the media, and then we would go right back and decide, you know, how are we going to get around this, or what are we going to do for this? And there was a lot of meetings, but there was a lot of shouting going on. There was a lot of positioning, but that was part of the game.
Craig, thank you very much. Good to see you.